Hey, what's up? How's it going? Good. Busy week, long day today. We won't go too long tonight. I've got to get up really early. Hey, what's up, Ash? Just working back some little minor errors. A little bit more mass on this side to even it out. I took the, I overlaid the two photos. From 2 days ago and then last night. So I was a little too extreme here. I don't mind that being a little bit exaggerated as long as it's in the right areas. Yeah, some features are worthwhile, like really distinct features are worthwhile exaggerating a tiny bit. As long as it doesn't throw off the overall shape. Yeah, so that's better. It's a little bit too much before. I think I need a little combination of taking this cheek down a little bit and building this one up a little bit to get to a median. I was checking out some Rogan photos today for the homunculus. I think I definitely want to go with the older big baby Rogan. Probably do that with wax clay because it's going to be a lot smaller. Handle it more. It's something that I won't get fingerprints all over. Yeah, that filled that in nicely. Ashley, did you watch any of those ping trap videos last night? Those things are pretty funny. That guy's got great timing on editing. Yeah, they're good. They're really good. Well worth the watch. No, I'm not going to watch it. Those things are always just hype. It never lives up to it. I don't know what I did with this little paper hair. I got him without his hair. It's got to be around here. There's this little paper hair. Well, that's definitely would be back in this range back here. And then you need some more length. But that's about right. There's a whole lot of space, a lot of real estate up there. Really starting to home in on it now. You first get started, it's rough. Nothing's in the right spot. Poor Sam, he's aging rapidly. Very rapidly. That's just tell you what, luck of the draw. It's on the subreddit the other day. Someone made a thread like, just shave it. Come on. It's time. Enough is enough. No, I haven't listened to Jim and Sam's show in a while, but it seems to really be taking some harsh criticism. Jim is really taking a beating too. That hair is very Sam Roberts-like. It's just shorter. Thank you. At least it's starting to get recognizable. When you first start, it looks like nothing. It's kind of like, hang in, everybody, hang in. We'll get there. We just started, Amy. Angle's good. Need some more surface area there. That plane back to the lip. So I do see that arch of that eyebrow's a little bit too high. Probably right in here. That lid's not quite as heavy. We're getting to that point where I'm putting on such thin layers that it takes a while to build it up. A lot longer than take it back down. Hey, that was good, Terry. Did you steal that one? I've not heard anything about Bill Schultz. He might have run back to Mexico with his Cabana boy. It's very strange. I think he's setting up to skip out on tomorrow. That's what I think. Either someone over there like Keith the Chomp, said no, or something. I didn't get a chance to work on the fangs today. Had a very, very busy day. Non-stop. I have 10 renderings to do this weekend, so we'll have some downtime, processing time in between. I don't have to have all 10 done this weekend, but I'd like to have half. I tell you, it's probably about 2 o'clock last night when I went to bed. Then I got up at 6 and started again, so I'm dragging a little bit tonight. We are going to have to do teeth, and we're going to have to, I'm also going to have to encapsulate those eyeballs in epoxy. I'll probably do some of that this weekend. I don't really have a weekend. Some of my days go by so fast. They just kind of melt together. That's true. That's kind of weekend like. Saturday night, I like to, unless something is like right down to the wire, I like to just stop, sit, watch the show, and chat. Sometimes I get stuck having to run out or something, but I usually get to just kind of chill out for the show. The chat's a big part of the show. Hold my breath, find out if I'm in trouble for anything for the week. Oh, shit. Yeah, Yusuf, I like him to take the heat if at all possible. Sorry, Yusuf. That's preferable. That's pretty minor infraction. That's pretty minor. Certain things, yeah, there's certain things that definitely wind him up. Doesn't like to be told what to do on the show. Doesn't like his bits blown. Criticism of Heat is usually like a quick death. I'm starting to think there's a good chance that he won't, actually. This disappearance is kind of strange. It's very strange. Now that's basing some of that thought on whether or not Nojo was telling the truth, that she didn't know where he was. Now, if she did, because there's always the possibility that that horse show was one big setup. It was one big paid promo. Bill opted out, and that she did know, and that she was just basically saying that he left her alone to do that promo. And he may not be unaccounted for at all. Yeah, I don't think he's afraid of confrontation. That I don't think at all. Now I wonder if anyone over there would put their foot down about the appearance. Should be pretty lame, but Stranger Things. So this was what? This was Thursday that he didn't show, or supposedly didn't show. That's a big thing there, because if she was just joking, changes everything. And then I would say it's probably some of the best acting I've seen her do. I know she was on Gotham. I know. I've never seen Gotham, so maybe she was wonderful. That is possible. No, I've not. I have not listened to it yet. So I'll have some material to listen to this weekend. See Anita, right? Nita Damani. I think he's mentioned that before. I think, most of these comedians, they work. They have other jobs. Oh, where are you? Honestly, I don't know how you live in Manhattan. That expense. Doing, $7,500 spots. That's crazy. I mean, maybe they're just every single night, but even then. Say you get 20. It's like $1,500 a month. How you live in New York? I don't understand it. Oh, absolutely. He doesn't like that Karen thing at all. I think it's an affront to his 100% Italian machismo that's his biggest fan. I think that bothers him. His most dedicated fan. Well, that, and I do think it bothers him that there's not hot chicks chasing him. I think he said something kind of similar that my biggest fan is a trans from Philadelphia. Karen loves that nerd. I tell you what. He should be trying to get on MWAT as much as he can. Now, I did not see the one last night as I got off the stream and then I kind of shut down. So I think one happened during the stream last night, during this stream. And I haven't seen that. I think that was the sandwich and the drink? Have a little whiskey and a little Sammy before bed? Have a little sandwich. Strange behavior lately. I kind of wonder if he's not putting it on a little bit to troll. You know, some people, any attention is good. You know, good or bad attention is good. Good. Well, good for him if he's getting into carpentry. It's good pastime for an old guy. Do a little whittling. More constructive than this comedy nonsense he insists on pursuing. Yeah, I'm dead serious when I say that, Amy. I mean, if you're doing something that you're good at, who needs the stress of this trying to get spots on it? I mean, really, it's got to wear on you that, you know, these guys brag about it. You know, Bisconti does it too. 30 years. It's got to wear on you. After the first 20, that it's not happening. And I get the whole persistence thing. I'm persistent. But if you're not, you know, meeting those goals every now and then, I don't do a lot of differential equations because normally I get them wrong, no matter how persistent I am. So that level of mathematics is not for me. Yeah, when you're young and you're hungry and you can deal with that a little bit more. It is a lot of stress, you know, and young people are chemically your body is meant to process that. You have different levels of chemicals and endorphins going when you're younger to deal with that stress. Probably, I would say, you know, on an anthropological level, it goes back to having to hunt and having to be under that stress of bringing home that bacon, being able to heal faster, recover from fatigue faster. Man, it's just too much to put yourself through. It's not going to happen. Joe, if for some weird reason you ever see this, it ain't going to happen, buddy. I'm sorry. I know somebody told you you could be whatever you wanted to be, but that just isn't the case. I will never be an NBA basketball player, no matter how much I practice. It just will not happen. If you think about that on that level, if I obsessed about being a professional basketball player for 30 years, stressing, problem with a lot of these comedians is that they're no more funny than just an average guy that you would just sit down next to at a bar who starts cracking you up a little bit. It's just bad news. Too many of them. And the internet giving everybody an outlet. Just do a podcast. I think Louis J. Gomez, he's responsible for more comedians doing podcasts. He probably should be punished for what he's done. Yeah, Cool Leaf. That's one of his, right? The Leaf bit. I think that was America's Got Talent. Now, Joe could do a show on Compound every bit as good as what anybody else is doing. I mean, hell, it could be better because it surely isn't going to be worse, and not worse than the flagship show on the channel. Holy mackerel! That show yesterday, unbelievable. And that was everybody saying that. That's not just my opinion. Everybody came to that same conclusion. This is ridiculous. So that's something that Compound should do. They've got a wide open schedule. Just start trying people out. Give people, 2 or 3 shows here and there. Just start lining them up one after another until they hit one. Somebody out there is going to do a show that, no one expected. And any of these comedians, if they wouldn't spend the time to prepare for a couple of shows just to come on and do it for not get paid, then they're not serious about it. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what Lewis is up to. It's weird. Making out with Big Janes. Every time I see a picture of me smoking a blunt. Oh, really? Is he still scarred from that Rogan appearance? Well, someone was saying last night that he wasn't really the target as he guessed. It was Janes. And Lewis was kind of tagging along, so. Sorry, Lewis. You need to get Kim Congdon back out on the West Coast so she can make a podcast with Wineshanks. It hasn't been one in a while. Yeah, that was cool of Jay, anyways. Why would Rogan want Big Janes on? That's kind of strange. Really? I wouldn't expect. What has Big Jane's done? Is he written on anything? It's a sick, sick industry. Other than political punditry, it may be the sickest industry out there. Well, it didn't take. It kind of seems like this bottom lip is a little bit more squared off. It's not really so round. I'm not far from where I've got to just go to different angles, getting about all I can out of front and side. So if your front and your side line up and you're still not getting the likeness, it's the 3/4. It could be. It could be ready sooner than I was kind of estimating. I'm just not completely there yet. I'm satisfied with the direction though. I was thinking more about that window liquor video. Oh, just how funny that would be. If we could get like save up some of the donations and pay Danny Golightly like $500 to just let us film her running down the street, and we have just a pack of little kids. Something just really awful. Well, I know she would. She loves to be on camera. That's probably getting into that obsessive territory a little bit. Can't imagine anyone would want to work with her. She is cray. No doubt about it. Doesn't seem like it. I think she was big on Insta there for a while, but she got a screw loose for sure. So it's got to be. I mean, what else does she do? I mean, I can't imagine. He's had a pretty good run with Missy so far. No major craziness going on. Just the regular stuff at the compound. Golightly's a comedian. And what is the deal with Golightly? I don't understand. I saw a billboard in New York. A guy was last. Golightly cannot be a family name. That's some kind of weird thing. I wish I could get to the bottom of it. So it's just people just taking that name as a pseudonym, right? It's not a real family name. Yeah, I know that. The other thing I have to do is find a couple of people to measure heads and do an average. Make sure I've got enough. I should be able to get enough kind of variation with the neck. This probably needs to come up a little bit. It's not bad. I think those Southern Italians have pretty sloped foreheads. It's hard to find a picture of him a side view without a hat on or anything like that, completely from the side. This is the best one I've been able to find with any decent kind of resolution. Without hair, yeah, it definitely has that kind of look to it. This is definitely way more built up than over here. So I can pick up some room inside the mask over here in between the ears. Yesterday, I think, was up there with one of the more extreme episodes of that cackling. What a pile of shit that was. Unreal. It wasn't long. And then Melton was a relief. It's like, oh, thank you. Six p.m. tomorrow for the bar. But start watching about 4. Can't promise anything. Maybe that's the big speculation right there. Is he going to cheese out? I know he's not afraid of a confrontation, but he's also very catty. Yeah, poor Bill. I hate to tell him, but Jono is a fool. She's a foolette. Although she's harmless. She's not up to anything, I don't think. She's just very mediocre gal. Yeah, I probably shouldn't say that. He needs to really stop. He needs to stop trying to white knight for her so much. It's kind of weird. Actually, weird is not really. It's pathetic, is what it is. Yeah, now I would be very interested if there was a rift. A Schultz and Jono rift that happened as long as they do it on air. That could be very interesting. We know how bitchy he is. And she's probably got a little streak in her too. That's how they do it in the pageant world. I do know another Patreon that I want to do. And I want to do a Donkey Lips Mr. Potato Head. I'd like to have a little Donkey Lips Mr. Potato Head on my desk. Have just a little Raiders cap. Some little ears. But you know what I do have to think about too is not just our fools. If we want to grow it to some bigger projects, got to think outside of our fools too. Because our fools are kind of limited to us. Not going to get anyone else interested. And I was thinking about something with a chip. Because the subreddit guys, they would probably like Chip. But I wonder, because it's a character, if it becomes intellectual property. Say, like, I can make a sculpture of any living person, but if I make someone's character, I don't know about that. I'd have to check into that. That might be kind of a gray area in copyright. So, like, you make a sculpture of Johnny Depp, but one of his characters that he's played, someone owns that property. So I bet you can make Norton all day long, but I might have a problem with Chip. I don't think Norton would mind a chip. But again, it's one of those gray areas. If all of a sudden, people are contributing to the Patreon for it, then it technically is getting into selling territory. I know technically it's listed as a reward, but the courts don't see things that way when it comes to copyright law. Hard to say. Chip off the old block of something. That show, I will say, is better with Kumiya on it. He does good on that show. Same stuff, but Just a liquid Jimmy. Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. I really do think that's a huge part of it. That Artie's just terrible, and he's probably not even that bad himself. It's just that it just doesn't work. Saw some of those psychopaths on Twitter talking about the funniest show ever. Like, all right, guys. All right. That bar set pretty low. Yeah, probably something brand like that. I would do the original and then shop it out for reproductions. I could, run them on the machine in the shop, but man, you ever listen to a CNC machine cut metal for about 8 hours? You want to die, and you can't leave because you can have a fire hazard. Yeah, I mean, there's places that will actually they'll cast out of like Herculoy and stuff like that, like brass and bronze alloys and nickel and all kinds of stuff like that. Well, I mean, there's companies that make bus tokens, Chuck E. Cheese coins, you know, so all kinds of places that do stuff like that. And then think the stuff out too. I mean, nobody wants to have a box full of junk, you know, sitting around. Certain things I think would be nice to have on my desk. Like Mr. Danky Lips. Get that. Yeah, and I think partly too on the collectible stuff, it's just that I've been involved in a different area of it. I don't even keep copies of the own junk I make. It would just stack up. I will keep a Chula though for myself. I think probably one or two more sessions, get some good 3/4 out, start looking at the see, I'm interested in seeing these shapes, the profile of the 3/4 views of the cheek. You can learn a lot from that. So that's what I'm going to really look for and get printed out. Spend a couple of sculpting sessions just touching that stuff up. And then start texturing up. There's no sense working it to death because it's pretty close. Yeah, half a brain is great. I love that. And then Alex Jones's brain farce instead of brain force. I think that shit's made at the same factory. I think Jones even gets his from where Rogan does. You should be able to get anything in those supplements out of your food if you're not an asshole and you just use half a brain. And you don't need more than that, or the food would have more in it. So a lot of that stuff is a scam. It's an outright scam. Now you might have a medical condition where you're deficient in something like iron but as a general rule, you don't need to be nuking your body with the high levels of that shit. I'm sure there's some things that have been kind of lost in modern processed foods and bad diets, but for the most part. Like what is it? To get your entire daily allotment of vitamin A and D, all you need is like 15 minutes in the sun. There you go. You're all set. Joe would try to leg kick me. God, those videos with like him and Whitney Cummings and Eliza Schlesinger, the way that guy edited those things, there's so much tension between those two, and they're looking back and forth and in the comments. Oh my God, I'm gonna go watch those again tonight. Just set his playlist to run because there was some that Gavin one. I was dying laughing when Gavin was had going to it with the penis. Oh, geez. Yeah, those were fantastic. The gorilla is great. He keeps making that noise. The guy's got a great set of timing that comes to start grabbing people's reactions and. He might, but you know, Mike is he's pretty deliberate on stuff. As far as content for the show, I don't ever even touch that. I might send him a link or something if I see something crazy come up. That's it. Who needs that stress? Yeah, exactly. There's nothing worse than you're sitting there listening to the show and all of a sudden you hear something like this clay former, and then you're like, oh God. I haven't been in trouble in a long time though. And I got hit on some unintentional ones that had nothing to do with me, but I still got caught up in it. But sometimes you take some shrapnel, right? If you don't want to take that chance, you got to keep your head down. Yeah, it was just a little too aggressive all at once, but I wasn't wrong. Yosef's been taking a pretty solid beating every now and then. I mean, he comes up on most shows. Hey, thanks for coming on the podcast. I had some patience to sit down and splice all that together. Same with that pin trip guy, because I've sat down with there's a Rogan video where I had a plan, and I just got like ran out of patience of sitting there watching and writing down time codes and then trying to go back and missing something. And That's a heck of a job. Yeah, Josef is great. Great sport too. Yeah, he's a good dude. I was dying. I'm not gonna say it. Let's save it for the BBG. It's funny. I have to say, his last pair of sneakers, the black ones with the ice blue laces, looked really good with that Red Bar shirt. That was pretty good. That's something I might even wear, maybe once. Yeah, I wear boots every day. I even when I was a hip teen, the closest I would have ever gotten, I think, was probably like Airwalk high tops or some kind of skateboarding shoe. If I was, skateboarding, but otherwise, I mean, I can't remember the last time I've owned a pair of sneakers. Just can't remember. I don't care for all that waffle stuff going on the bottom of the shoes. Geez, try to find just a plain black shoe, or maybe like a nice black and gray. That's why I like those ones that I like those ones that Yusuf got. The weird science tee is cool. That's the colors are great. The kind of electric blue and white. Would you take 400 toonies? It's a nice looking coin. No, 800 Canadian is like $7 or something down here. You come out good on that. Yeah, the Canadian money, it's got all kinds of pretty colors and pictures of breakfast foods, condiments. Oh, so Bill is bailing? Keith the accomplice probably told him not to. No, I just looked up from what I was doing and I saw that and I was trying to look further up in the chat and see if I missed something. I mean, I'm expecting him to bail. That's kind of what I think this Oh Dark 30 is on the tweets. Just all of a sudden he's just gone and no one gets in touch with him and he's in Mexico getting pounded on the beach and drinking. Kumi can't get rid of Maresca. We got too much dirt on each other. They're stuck. Kumi was in the radio for a long time. He knows a good show, and he was a Stern fan. He knows a good show. He knows what's going on there is not good. I don't think Teeth the Chomp is even in charge. I think someone else is in charge, to be honest. Someone who's bringing in all these C-rated Sheklas. Someone who has ties to Laney. Something's going on. I mean, yeah, he's got stake in his own company, but there's more to it than just that. Kumi knows how to do a good show. Artie was probably Keith the Cop. But yeah, whoever is the other people involved, they're the deep discount, all of that. And if it's just Anthony and Maresca, and Maresca has that much control over his network, he's insane. Crazier things have happened. Something's fishy around that place. Something's not right. All right, let's take an intermission. Use the restroom. I'm dying of thirst. Gone fisting. Where's his cool dinosaur photos with his guns? He has this little boonie hat on. Need a little bit in there. He had a rough year there. Last year was rough. The tickets and the trolling. See, that kind of trolling wouldn't work on me because I wouldn't go. Like if there was a subreddit on me, I wouldn't go there. And really, other than someone else mentioning, hey, did you see what was on? No, I don't want to hear about it. I would never go. I'd never see it. And it wouldn't work. Who was really he was probably one of the first that really went down hard because of Twitter. I just don't recall like these guys really taking a beating like that until, and I don't agree with it either. I hope one of these days they mess with someone who's got the disposable income to take it all the way, but it would cost millions. Milo's a shyster. He needs to disappear. He got way more time than he needed anyways. He might be in pretty big trouble with that fundraiser. Well, feds, they don't like that charity fraud. Unless you're a Clinton. Basically, the government doesn't like anyone getting in on their game. Unless you're one of the club. Start messing around like that, you get nailed. Yeah, that scholarship thing. Just kind of like what they did to Martha Stewart, man. They threw the book at her for really nothing more than anyone else has done. Congress does insider trading all the time. I think they got her on a process crime though. They got her for being less than truthful in her statements. So not really what she did as far as the trading. Well, I think this is about all I can do with the front and profile. I gotta find some good photos. I might have to go and start looking through videos, see if I can find some HD video and get some screen caps. That's the most likely place to get a bunch of different expressions. Well, what the hat is doing is it's covering up the bald head. That's so distinct that it pulls you away. So just covering that up, I can just forget about all that. Yeah, I'm wondering if maybe I can find some eps of red eye. Yeah, I'm not sure. Karen's a member of Viduka. I'm not sure about the other group. The chip show is probably not a bad resource. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, I think I saw that. The live one. I'll have to go look for that. That's probably what, about 3 months ago? In that range? Man, I'm getting pretty happy with this, to be honest. Thanks, Aim. Yeah, we could be getting there. I'm just trying to think of tomorrow. Tomorrow will be no stream. Also, no Talking Red tomorrow. But I think I do have a pretty good idea for the Rogan homunculus. That's right. There's an MWAT. Karen's off to see Matreats live. She will be gone. No, I've not done any sketching on that yet. Today I did. I got up at 5 a.m. or about, it was closer to 6 a.m. I did 2 3D models and 2 renderings. Got those mailed out, mid-morning. Around 10, I think, around 10 a.m. Packed chulas. Did some research for another job, and then I set up a file. So I do want to do I wonder if I should do one of those. I was thinking out loud. I wonder if I should cast one of those eyes tonight so one of them can be cooking. Depending on the temperature, it's a 24 to 48 hour cure time on that epoxy. It's one of my favorite little sculpting tools. It's a piece of guitar string just bent into a loop and glued into a hole in a stick. Boy, does it work good. The little wound wire on there just makes the nicest little scratches in the surface of the clay. I did look at some Ronstein photos today to try to see which way I want to go. You know how easily this could be turned into a Kruger with all the melted scars? So easy. It would look great too. I do think the eyes are a little bit on the crazy side. Although I wanted the smile with kind of that frown, but I may tone them down a little bit. The white also, the white color against the skin makes them kind of look more intense than they really are. I could clay over them, I guess. I think we're pretty close. I think I need to bring this up a little bit here. Maybe like a 1/16 of an inch. Kind of get that arch. It's an odd shape. It's a very subtle shape. If you go too far, it looks weird. And so tomorrow I think I'll switch to something else and take a day off. It helps sometimes to walk away. Come back and get fresh eyes on it. Pick up some things you've been missing. It's a very similar process, Ash. You just I use more heated tools. It's kind of oh, there's a mixture of carving in there and scraping and then adding. Heat up parts of wax and add it in layers and build it up. For small stuff, I like to either that or epoxy putty. I'll have to look and see. I might do it in epoxy. See if how old my epoxy sculpt is, and if not, maybe order some, because that's nice to work with too. I've got a little bit of Milliput here, but I don't think it's enough. Oh, Milliput, that comes from Liverpool, over where you are. Good stuff. Lip has a nice roll to it. Corners of the mouth. Just kind of rolling up into the lip. punch eyelashes in too. I really want to do the mechanism for the eyeballs. So maybe that'd be a good Sunday project and Sunday night stream. Take a couple of days off from staring at this thing and cast those eyeballs. I'm gonna get some fresh eyes on this thing. I gotta go look at those links too that are up in the Fool's Face for those wigs. I might just go ahead and order one of those cheap wigs just so I have something to visualize. And then I can cut it and trim it, not worry about it, getting clay in it and everything. Sure is a lot of sculpting. Are we almost there yet? Three days my ass, Packer. Nice line. Most common question: when are you going to take a handful of gravel and smash it into it? When are you going to shoot it with a 12 gauge? When are you going to throw acid on it? Definitely the common question. People want this coom scarred up. Yeah, I'm going to use the photo reference and try to keep it in the correct areas. I mean, of course, I'm not going to sit in with calipers and hit every crevasse and canyon, but we'll go for the correct placement, the right flow of wrinkles and skin. Take some care in that. Oh, yeah, that silicone will pick up. If I put a scratch the size of a human hair, the silicone will pick it up. Absolutely. Whatever I sculpt, that's why I'm going to have to spend a lot of time smoothing and doing the skin, because it will pick up every last little thing. Now, how did I get? I tell you, because I was looking off from one side. I got extra buildup. Yeah, and then you can get these for the silicone. It's a nice kind of like a honey translucent, and you start adding pigments to it to get your skin tones. But you get these little microfibers. They're the tiniest little thin, wispy, short little fibers in like red and blue. And you find the right mixture, and you just mix some of these little fibers in the silicone, and they mix throughout the thickness of the material. And because it has subsurface scattering and light will kind of penetrate the surface, you can visually pick up that little kind of like capillaries in the skin from these little fibers. And it's really, really cool. Subsurface scattering is what that's called. It's when the light goes through the surface of a material and then bounces. I don't know if you've ever stuck a flashlight up to your nostril and then looked at all the veins in your nose. It's kind of like, it's that type of deal. The light will illuminate what's inside of a translucent body. In fact, if you've never stretched out your ball bag and put a flashlight behind it and looked at it, you should. It's pretty cool. There's all kinds of stuff going on in your nutsack. Oh boy, she just saw a bug fly by. What is that? Oh, just a moth? She's a hunter. Let's not bring down the desk for a moth, okay? Mm-hmm. All right, I think we're going to cut the stream, call it a night, catch up on a little bit of rest. It's not that early, is it? 11 o'clock? I'm going to go hunt some photos. Paper here is a little small. I'll go check on that wig too. I'll do that tonight and get a wig ordered. That's going to make a big difference. All right. Everybody have a great night. Thanks for hanging out. See you tomorrow night in the chat for the show. And then we'll do another. Have a few things going. Take care. Have a great night.